Hello, today we are going to discuss about the p-type materials and n-type materials, also basics about the semiconductor diodes. So before going to discuss about the semiconductor diodes and p-type and n-type material, we should know the types of material and how what is the definition of this. So there are three types of material. One is conductor, then insulator, then next one is called semiconductor. Actually, the semiconductor is used to construct the electronic device like diode, transistor, etc. So what is conductor? A conductor is a material which easily allows the flow of electric current. The best conductors are copper, silver, gold and aluminum. In the above materials, the atom consists of only one electron, which is very loosely bound to the atom. These electrons can easily break away from the atom and become free electrons, causing conduction in the material. In terms of energy band diagram, the valence band and conduction band overlap each other. Next, you come to insulator. What is this? An insulator is a material that does not conduct electric current. In this material, valence electrons are tightly bound to the atom. In the energy band diagram, we can see that there is a huge gap between conduction band and valence band. The valence band is full and the conduction band is empty. The energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band is large, it is approximately 6 eV. Next, you come to the semiconductor. A semiconductor is a material that has electrical conductivity that lies between conductors and insulator. A semiconductor in its pure state is neither a good conductor nor a good insulator. The most common semiconductors are silicon, germanium, carbon, etc. The energy band diagram of semiconductor shows that there is a small gap between conduction band and valence band. Next, you come to classification of semiconductor. The semiconductor are classified into intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor. Okay, this is the structure of silicon atom. So best example of semiconductor is silicon and germanium. So here you see the silicon atoms are bonded with the another silicon atom using the covalent bond, as it has 4 valence electrons. So combining a large number of silicon atom, we get the silicon crystal. Now the semiconductor are classified into two types I have already told, intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor. A pure semiconductor is called a intrinsic semiconductor, okay, where we don't add any impurities. So we already know that the electrical property of material depends upon the number of valence electrons. So in case of copper, the valence electrons can be easily detached from the atom. So next you come to the p-type and n-type material. What are these? These are called extrinsic semiconductor. So you see this is the crystal structure of p-type semiconductor, n-type semiconductor, sorry, and this is the crystal structure of p-type semiconductor. So in n-type semiconductor, the number of free electron can be increased by adding a pentavalent atom to it. These are the atoms with 5 valence electrons. Typical examples of pentavalent atoms are arsenic, phosphorus, bismuth and antimony. So here you see phosphor is added to the silicon material. Here phosphor is a pentavalent atom. That means it has 5 valence electron. Since for bonding with the silicon atom we need only 4 valence electron, so for one phosphor atom we will get 1 extra electron. In this way, by adding a large numbers of phosphor atom, we will get a large numbers of free electrons. So in this way we can increase the conductivity of n-type material. So in the n-type material, the electrons are the majority charge carrier and the holes are the minority charge carriers. Next we come to the p-type material. In the p-type semiconductor, actually again we are adding some impurities or extra atom to the pure semiconductor. The number of holes in the intrinsic silicon can be increased by adding trivalent impurity to it. These atoms have 3 valence electrons. Typical examples for the trivalent atoms are boron, indium, gallium, etc. So this figure shows the bonding between the silicon crystal and the trivalent atom. Since each trivalent atom has only 3 valence electrons with it, only 7 electrons exist in its valence orbit. That is, one hole results from each trivalent atom added. Because of the trivalent atom can take 1 electron is often referred to as the acceptor atom. The numbers of holes can be controlled by the numbers of impurity added to the silicon. That means here you see boron is a trivalent atom, that means it has only 3 valence electron. But for bonding with silicon we need 4 valence electron. So by adding the boron impurity to the silicon, we get 1 extra hole. That means for 1 boron we get 1 positive ion. Thus adding a large numbers of boron we get a large numbers of positive ion. In this way, in the p-type semiconductor, the holes are the majority charge carriers and electrons are the minority charge carrier in this type of material. Okay, so next we come to the diode. What is diode? Diode is a semiconductor device. Okay, by combining or by connecting one p-type material and one n-type material, we get the junction diode. So here is this is the symbol of the diode. This is the positive terminal and this is the negative terminal. Here you see this is the p-type material and this is n-type material. So terminal connected to the p-type material is called anode and terminal connected to the n-type material is called cathode. Okay, so after connecting these two p-type and n-type material, we get the diode. So at the junction of the diode, again we get some one extra layer. This is called depletion layer. So regarding depletion layer, what is depletion layer, what is the function, we will get in the next class.